Welcome to the Town of Barnstable's formal site plan review. Today's date is April 3rd, 2025. My name is Brian Florence, and I'll be chair for this meeting. You may note, excuse me. This meeting is being recorded and is broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20. I need to inquire whether or not anyone else is recording at this time, and if so, please make yourself known. I don't see anybody making themselves known, so we will continue here. The way this meeting is being conducted is in accordance with section 240-24.1.2 B4 of our zoning ordinance, which requires that we hold a public hearing, or excuse me, we hold a hearing in public and that public members are allowed to comment. The purpose of site plan review is to ensure that site plan for a proposed development is in compliance with local, state, and federal regulations before a project is submitted for permitting. That brings all the town's regulatory agencies together in one place, so you don't have to try to go from department to department to understand what you need for permitting. While we may, as a courtesy, provide insight into other regulations that apply to your project during the permitting process, such as building permits, licensing, health regulations, and so forth, this meeting should not be construed as to be an approval of those activities. Those are regulated elsewhere. The way our process works is this: we'll read your case into the record. You, as the applicant, will then have an opportunity to give a brief presentation. From there, I'll ask for staff comments and questions. Once staff has completed their portion of the meeting, we'll open the floor to the public for comment. Please raise your hand or indicate through Zoom that you wish to be heard if you're speaking as a member of the public. I ask that everybody please mute your microphone until it's your turn to speak. And when you do speak, please state your name before speaking. If you need to share your plans, we've made arrangements for you to do that. If you don't know how to do that, just let us know and we'll be happy to assist you. Maggie will be taking notes of this proceeding, so you don't feel like you have to take a bunch of notes. We'll give you any information that we need afterwards in a letter form for any questions or outstanding concerns. And I think that's it, Maggie. You just let me know ahead of time if this is that requires the public. Okay?
I will.
And please feel free to go ahead and read our first case. Read our first case. Yeah.
Case today is an agenda item with public comment. It's site plan review 25-10 for Bay Ridge Realty LLC, represented by Matt Eddy. The address is 79-81 Bassett Lane in Hyannis, map parcel 308040. The zoning is downtown village as well as the AP overlay. The proposal is for the applicant is now proposing to demolish and construct a new building at the site. Previous site plan approval number was site plan review -24-22. Thank you.
Thank you. And who would like to start the presentation today?
Good morning, Brian. I will start it. For the record, Matthew Eddy, professional engineer with Baxter and I Engineering and Surveying, representing Bay Ridge Properties LLC as the owner and applicant. So just real quick, as Maggie read into the record, the site was previously approved back in April of 24. Actually, can I share my screen before I keep going? Is that okay to share, Brian?
It's okay. You may take a second for Sarah to get that ready for you.
You're all set.
Okay. Yep. Great. Thank you. Hopefully everybody can see my screen now.
We can.
Okay, so with that, this is a request for modification of the prior site plan review approval. As Maggie mentioned, the previous approval was to just renovate the two existing buildings, which are located here as number 81, and then the existing footprint of the structure, which is still there, is number 79. The proposal now, based on the owner, Dennis Ciccato, has completed the renovation for 81 that is ready to, kind of come online, if you will, have tenants once we get the sewer connection completed, which I'll address. But just based on construction costs and so forth, he determined that it was more feasible to raise this existing building and now proposing a new building to be constructed. So that's why we're before you. So this is a formal site plan review, as you know, and we have made all the necessary butter notifications, and those have been uploaded to the OpenGov site. We believe this is a by right project. And with that, just talking about the existing conditions real quick. Address is 7981 Bassett Lane, approximately 0.3 acres, all upland. We have about 95 feet of frontage along Bassett Lane. There are obviously no environmental features on the site. Zoning district, downtown village, with no overlay districts, the standard AP overlay from a groundwater standpoint. The two existing buildings are about 3,100 square feet in footprint total. As I mentioned, 81's been fully renovated now for two apartments. The sewer work is underway. The construction of the new sewer is underway, and it's expected to be completed by the end of next week. Access to the site is off there's an existing entrance onto Bassett Lane that will remain. Site's currently connected to public water. It was served, interestingly enough, by Title V, hence the extension of the sewer to serve this project. Power to the site is by overhead, and there's also natural gas service to the site. So with that, so again, the proposal raised the existing building 81, new footprint proposed here, which is 1,940 square feet in footprint. It is 2 floors with a basement. There's 3 units per floor, total of 6 units, and there's 2 units here, so a total of 8 units will be on the site. The basement for the new building will have storage units, storage areas for each of the units, and we'll have a common laundry and then also some utility rooms. From a zoning perspective, the downtown village zoning district allows multifamily residential by right. The site as proposed meets all of the zoning dimensional requirements and has certain pre-existing non-conforming elements that will remain as they are. The building as proposed, number 81, meets all the setbacks. Proposed lot coverage is 61.8%, 80% is allowed by zoning. As I mentioned, we've got some existing entrance onto Bassett. 8 parking spaces are required. We are providing 9. We've increased green space along Bassett. This is all paved existing. That's going to get removed. Adding some additional landscaping, street trees along Bassett Lane. Pedestrian circulation has been improved over what the existing site is. Parking, walkways, landscape in front of number 79. Dumpster area, screened refuse area here will likely probably be the totes as opposed to a dumpster. There was a comment by planning to look at maybe moving this to the back. We elected to keep it here just because there is a little bit of green space back here that will, give the tenants a little space, the picnic table or something like that. So we didn't want to take that up with the enclosed dumpster area. And again, adding the street trees along the front will help with screening, and the refuse area will be fully screened as required. Drainage, we're providing new leach pits for the entire roof drainage for the proposed building. This results in a decrease in overall impervious area. That was 8,158 square feet of existing. It will now be reduced down to 6,761 square feet of runoff area. Utilities, as I mentioned, septic is being removed. Sewer is being extended to be completed shortly. Existing overhead electric will be extended to the new building. And we have provided a new water service per water department comments, going through informal. Existing water service was here and stated that he was going to require a new service. So we're showing a new 2-inch service with shut off and meter pit at the property line as requested. And then just real quick, hitting the other comments, which were all fairly straightforward from DPW. Crosswalk detail was added, stop sign and stop bar. Matt Roble had mentioned possibly needing a sleeve at the crossing of sewer and the roof drains. We've identified what the crossings are. The sewer is below the roof drain and is separated by 18 inches, so we don't believe the sleeve is needed. We relocated the manhole we previously had it here. We've relocated to the property line and are using that as a sampling manhole. Hydraulic, I'm sorry, high groundwater calculations have been uploaded. And then we extended the silt fence along the property line here as Matt requested. So, and then just real quick, I think the benefits of the site are fairly evident, but it's going to be a significant improvement of the aesthetics of the site. I will say extension of the public sewer, which you don't see here, but it actually extends down from North Street. So it's providing service for roughly, I'm going to say 7 budding properties coming up that weren't currently on sewer. So that's a significant improvement. And then obviously creation of needed housing that the town of Barnstable currently. So with that, I will turn it back over to staff and happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Maggie, have we received any correspondence on this matter?
Nothing's been received, Brian.
Great, thank you. Planning and development, please.
Hi, Kyle Pedicini for Planning and Development. Only new comment is I don't know if I mentioned last time that this property is located in the Greening the Gateway planting zone, so you're actually eligible for a free tree. So if you're interested, please contact our office. That's my only new comment. Thank you.
We need to give. All right. Thank you very much, Kyle. Building division, please.
Thank you, Brian. Jeff Carter, Building Division. No comments, just a couple notes from the, or no questions rather, but just a couple notes from informal. We will be looking for a demo permit for demoing the structure that's currently on site and a building permit for the reconstruction, which will fall under construction control. Those are our 2 notes. Thank you.
Yep. Licensing, please.
Thank you, Brian. Aaron Logan Licensing. There are no local licensing requirements for this project.
Thank you. Public health.
Thank you, Brian. David Stanton with Public Health. The only comment we have is if they rent out the units, they will need to register them with the Health Division. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire.
Thanks, Brian. Tim Landman, High-End Fire Prevention. No new comments for this as well. Request we work with DPW engineering on addressing for the buildings once they're in place. Most of our needs will be addressed during the permitting phase for fire protection for the new building. Request that fire protection gets included with your construction control documents, and that one last thing that is slips my mind, but again, most of it's going to be addressed during the permitting phase of this project. We're happy with the existing for our access, which was off my mind, and that is it for High-End Fire. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Quick question, Tim. Do we need to do testing for the amplification, the bioamplification?
That was it. Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, at the proper point during construction, we're going to need third-party VDA testing. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Which we mentioned in permitting as well. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt. All right. DPW engineering, please.
Good morning, Matt Roble from DPW Engineering. No new comments on this, but I'll read the ones from informal. The project will require a road opening and trench permit, as well as a sewer connection permit prior to commencing construction. The road opening permit will be required for any work within the public right-of-way. Any road closures that may be needed to facilitate work within the public right-of-way would require submission of a traffic management plan for review and approval from DPW prior to the start of construction. Any sidewalks disturbed within the public right-of-way must be replaced to the town of Barnstable DPW specifications. The applicant will need to coordinate with DPW Engineering and Hyannis Fire Department regarding any address changes to the buildings or apartment units. The applicant will need to work with the Barnstable tree warden, Andrew Bernier, for any plantings within the public right-of-way. And then, Matt, we're just going to be looking for some cleanouts or manhole structures, your preference, between any changes in horizontal or vertical pipe direction with the drain lines. This is something that you could just show after the fact offline. No further comments at this point in time.
Real quick, Matt, so you're talking about the cleanouts at the for the roof drain lines?
Yeah, just clean outs at any changes in direction or intersection between multiple lines.
Okay.
All right, nothing further at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open this up to public. If anybody with the public has any comments, please let me know and we'll happy to hear from you.
There's no public comment at this time.
Great, thank you. All right, does anybody staff-wise here see any reason why this cannot proceed to permitting? Seeing none, I find this matter as approval. It may proceed to permitting contingent upon compliance with the outstanding items we've heard here today.
All righty. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. You have a good day.
Bye.
All right, Maggie, would you like to read our next case?
Yes, our next case is an agenda item without public comment. It's site plan review 24-86 for Buttercup Cafe for Melissa Jankowski. The address is 3224 Main Street in Barnstable, map parcel 299029. The zoning is split between the RF2 and the VB-A, as well as the Old Kings Highway. The applicant is requesting to use 2 parking spaces to create 16 seats for seasonal outdoor dining. This application will require Zoning Board of Appeals relief per 24057. Thank you.
And who would like to present this case for us today?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. It's Ashley McCormick on behalf of Buttercup Cafe. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm also joined on the call with Melissa Jankowski, the owner of Buttercup Cafe, as well as Brandon Lee from Kelly Engineering, who was kind enough to get involved in the project and update the parking study and submit all the materials to the board before today's hearing. Just by brief background, since we were before you all not too long ago for an informal. Looking at our notes here, just a reminder, Buttercup's been open for about 4 years. It has relied on the outdoor seating to find success in the business at that location. They've grown despite the pandemic. They recently have a contract with the courthouse serving folks out there. And really looking forward to the summer. We did address all the comments, I believe, that were submitted during the informal, and we have submitted our request for parking relief to the ZBA. We are scheduled for a hearing on the evening of 4/23 as it stands now, assuming everything is fine to move forward from all of your perspectives. I'm just looking at some of the topics from last time. With respect to licensing, I think some of the concerns that were brought up were that the umbrellas were potentially blocking signage. That's something that certainly Melissa can commit to editing in the near future. I believe with going before the ZBA, we also uncovered that we would need ADA accessibility to be extended to the Buttercup Cafe. That is already in the works as we move forward. And another concern was that the cones, so to speak, were not going to be enough to protect individuals seated within those 2 parking spot areas. Melissa is committed to getting more permanent structures to enclose the public in from both the sidewalk and the parking lot to protect them from potential cars or others passersby. And I think that those were the significant concerns addressed. I will keep it brief and otherwise turn it over for questions. Mr. Lee is certainly able to address anything with respect to the parking study. And we can go from there. Thank you all so much. And I just want to thank Maggie was super helpful with us all and putting everything together. I really appreciate that. And I know Aaron fielded some questions from us as well. So thank you all so much.
Thank you as well. You did a nice job. Does your team have the ability to put up a site? So this gets recorded and it's the public is allowed to view it. Does your team have the ability to pull up the site plan and just do a brief walkthrough?
I'll defer to Brandon if he has that technological ability.
Yes, I'm pulling that up right now.
Thank you. If you could just do a brief walkthrough, Brandon, you don't have to go too crazy here. We just want to generally understand where the spots are that are going to be taken over, okay?
Okay, can you guys see my screen?
We can see it. Yep, thank you.
So as Ashley mentioned, This is the Buttercup Cafe entrance. The existing 2 steps will be removed and the handicap ramp access in front of the post office will be extended to the entrance of the Buttercup Cafe to provide ADA access. Also, there will be planter boxes placed around the outdoor patio. We also added 2 parking spaces to the plan. Goal the parking study. So there are currently 14 parking spaces on the property shown in the orange. 2 of the spaces will be converted to an outdoor patio. There are also 78 adjacent parking spaces on abutting properties. And this is allowed for zoning. There are also 15 on-street parking spaces on Main Street located within 300 feet of the Buttercup Cafe, as well as 308 parking spaces located in the municipal courthouse parking lot. So hence there's a total of 413 available parking spaces.
Thank you very much. You can go ahead and drop your screen share and we'll bring it back. All right. Nice job, folks. Appreciate it. Maggie, has there been any correspondence on this matter?
No outside correspondence, Brian. Thank you.
So I'm getting distracted. I have a phone call. Planning and development, please.
Hi, Kyle Pedicini from Planning and Development. The applicant mentioned they're scheduled to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals for the parking relief. So beyond that, we don't have any comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Building Division.
Thank you, Jeff Carter, Building Division. The only new comment that we have is we're going to be looking for a building permit for the addition of the accessible ramp in the front of the building. That's our only comment, Brian.
Thank you. Licensing.
Thank you, Brian. Aaron Logan Licensing. Once you go through ZBA, you get approval, you can at that time, while you're waiting for the appeal period, apply for your amendment to your common victular. With the season upon us, I would recommend, if you get a favorable response from ZBA, that you do that during that appeal period so we can get you on the agenda. And that's it. Just an amendment to the existing common victular license to extend to the outdoor dining. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Health.
Thank you, Brian. David Stanton with Public Health. We have no comments on this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Barnstable Fire.
Thank you, Brian. Kevin Brayley, Barnstable Fire. No comments.
Thank you. DPW Engineering.
Matt Roble, DPW Engineering. No comments on this application.
Thank you. Back to staff. Does anyone see any reason why this cannot proceed to permitting? Seeing none, I find the matter is approvable and may proceed to permitting. Thank you, Ms. McCormick, and good luck with your business, Ms. Jankowski. Thank you, Lee. Mr. Lee.
Thank you.
Staff, as always, thank you so much for your time and attention to site plan review. That concludes site plan review for April 3rd, 2025. Have a great rest of your day.